We are getting after it here today.
Oh my gosh.
I have been up since the
gosh.
wee hours of the morning going over the massive amount of very important information. It's not often I get a day like this where there's about 10 things that could all make headlines. We're going to all go over all of this and more. We have a very special guest from Moonwell. Actually, part of the founding of Moonwell, going to be joining us later on in the show today. I'm going to try to smash through all of this and more. Dizzy's asking, should they revamp the Discord?
No.
Maybe. I mean, maybe we should just plug them into the main one that's about to roll out. That's the kind of
That's what I was
zone.
going to say, because there's not going to be a point of revamping the old Discord when we're
because we're being combined with Discover Crypto now and HitLab or HitLab Academy. HitLab. But that's something to talk about. We need to talk about that, Ducey. You know what I mean? Maybe we should. You know what? I've been just putting the trades out on Twitter. Holy God, are things getting exponentially well on the trading side? Let's check it out real quick. All right, we're going to take a quick gander here. So the original trade setup was this W pattern double bottom action. Okay, the bottom Betty, that bottom Betty. I put in multiple longs at $75,000 flat.
Jeez.
I've let one of them continue to ride. It is the one that's highlighted on my personal Twitter account where I gave the original trade calls to begin with at Druth Crypto. This thing is up. It's even more now. I think it's up 530%. Not too bad. I got a link down in the description of this. You can join us on the trading competition because this community is going to dethrone DZ. God damn it.
Exactly.
He's going in and out of fart coin longs and shorts. He's all over the place, you know. So that's why he's winning on volume. We could win this competition. So make sure to click that link, join. Where we are though on the trade setup, I did clip this larger trade because I did multiple pretty large trades from 75. I had another large one from 83.7 that I clipped at about 87.4. So I have left this off the table other than that ongoing trade that's on L Bank, and that's still printing for me, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on a damn thing. But Isaac has come across a trading bag now.
I have, thanks to this guy over there.
But you know what? You've been learning for a long time. You've been practicing with a smaller bag. I think it's ready. Your time is ready.
I am ready to liquidate myself yet again.
Please don't. No, we're just kidding. You know, it takes time to practice, and then I feel like Isaac's finally ready to jump into the trenches with me. It has been quite a hilarious time. Where are all the bears today, right?
Exactly. I don't care though. They can go.
Where did all
go wander?
The bear has gone. Ooh. Also, I need to know if we should keep the intro song.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
I love that.
I'm not even going to run a poll. Just +1s in the chat because we're feeling great today.
That's
+1s in the chat if we keep the new intro or go back to the old one.
Yeah, you guys make the call here. What up, Palmeritano? What up, gang? Justin, Cali Crypto Dude. Tom Crown, what is up, man?
Is he actually in here?
Where
is he? What?
Tom Crown's in here. Chastity.
Am I blind? Oh, shoot. Tom Crown, what's up?
Yeah, McHale. Ducey does. No, dude, why is Ducey leaving? What's the problem?
I don't know. It's not with the Discord.
We got some huge things coming.
We're in the middle of a humongous transition. Everything's hectic right now.
Yeah, not Decepticon transition either.
Yeah.
The good kind. Now, +1s. All right. I think a lot of people like it. So we're going to keep it. Also, I'm going to look at ABT. They're right. I have looked at ArcBlocked a long time ago. I am seeing the AI sector is bubbling up for a massive resurgence. Good news for you, Isaac, and your graphene thing. I see some actual pretty solid hope coming in for AI tokens. No, Ducey, you're not allowed to leave. You're locked in.
You're stuck here. You're in my basement forever.
Now let's get into all the news. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of ground to cover here. Okay. Hoover, get out of there. All right. So JD Vance has said that India and the United States have officially finalized the terms of reference for the trade negotiations to go down between India and the United States. A deal is incoming. This is a vital step towards realizing the President Trump and PM Modi's vision. It's set for a roadmap towards a final deal. And also, I must say a quick prayer. I hope that all the victims of the attack that happened in India, Modi was talking about this morning, find their peace. Constant religious wars going on over there.
Very sad.
Might be playing into why there's this alliance set up. But right now, what we see is a great betrayal of India to China. And this is what I was talking about a long time ago. BRICS is going to fall apart because of a betrayal from India, rug pulling China in their little alliance. No, wait, I want America to buy my stuff instead. Go, never mind. That's what we see happening right now. Man, it feels good to be so correct about such a large macroeconomic shift that I called years ago.
All right.
Who's Vance visiting next? That is a great question.
Hillary.
Maybe he's got to visit with Hillary. This is how I woke everyone up this morning. Assassin's Creed version JD Vance just dropped. So, maybe if we could convince JD Vance to give Hillary Clinton a visit.
That would be pretty funny. I want to, but what was a Joe Rogan video that I showed you?
Oh yeah.
I want to play that so bad.
Oh yeah. That's for after hours.
Yeah, no.
Bears are too busy out there blowing their cousins. Good to know.
Nice.
What they're up to doing. Trump effect. Roche, massive company, is about to spend $50 billion on U.S. manufacturing and R&D. Boom! This is another. If you are in the trades, if you are in commercial and structural concrete, and electricians are about to make a absolute shitload of money. I'm telling you, the actual way to mine fiat currency, if you're out there in the trades, dudes, I'm telling you, anything and everything to do with data center build-outs, manufacturing systems build-outs, and even manufacturing operators.
Bullish. You're about to be a rich motherfucker.
I mean, that's some good stuff right there. That's some good stuff. Now, Bank of America says it doesn't expect an interest rate cut this year due to inflation.
Wrong.
I'm still on the side that June's going to see an interest rate cut.
Same.
I still feel that way. What's up, sluts? What's up, multi-sig? Devin, good to see you, bro. Now, Standard Chartered Bank has said that Bitcoin could reach a new all-time high due to concerns over the Federal Reserve's independence. I have always tried to beg to differ with this. Like the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell will say, no, I'm not politically motivated and all this stuff. There's no way Jerome Powell didn't know that the jobs numbers were fugazi under Biden's administration.
Oh, yeah, totally.
There's no way. Absolutely no way. He's not stupid. We did see James O'Keefe coming out with this. It caught the Federal Reserve principal economist on a hidden camera describing Jerome Powell's legacy as somebody who held the line against Trump. He revealed how the Fed under Powell began focusing on wealth inequality and climate change because those are the most important things to focus on as the macroeconomic lead of the most powerful currency on the planet, right? Climate change. That's important.
Exactly. And what's up, Jay Chains? Jay Chains is also here in the chat too.
Oh, what up, Jay Chains?
We got all the people. We got all the OGs here, dog.
Shoot. What up, man? That was so awesome having Jay Chains on the show.
I know, it was so cool meeting him.
We have to make that happen again. Maybe I should go on his show.
Vegas.
Vegas also. You know what?
Yeah, you can come stay at the house, bro.
Dude, I'm going to cook Jay Chains the most delicious steak. It's giving me a competition between me and Kelly on who cooks the better steak, and Kelly is actually a better chef than me. But I can cook a mean steak. Kelly is incredible at cooking on the grill, though. So looks like the agency, the Federal Reserve, not only set interest rates, but also social policies, pulling the line for Mr. Biden and the economic institution of climate change taking more precedent than the average person in America and their prosperity. Now, another big bombshell coming in. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And just for a quick note, the Health and Human Services Agency oversees 13 of the largest health organizations here in the United States. This includes the CDC, the FDA, the whole gamut. Robert F. Kennedy is in control of those things. And the U.S. Drug and Food Administration Commissioner Marty McCary, in tandem with him, will share more about the administration's plans on Tuesday. It looks like they're going to have some major announcements coming related to removing artificial food and the dyes between artificial food dyes and the U.S. food supply. This is something that my son has been begging for me to see actually happen.
Dang.
So tired of hearing all this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And also, like, it's great we have the Gulf of America, but truly it should be called the Gulf of no one has been arrested yet for finding $290 billion worth of fraud in the United States government.
Welcome to America.
Is that like they should all be put in Guantanamo Bay?
They should all be going to El Salvador kill camps.
Coinbase confirmed is considering applying for a U.S. federal bank charter, a move that could let it offer traditional banking services like deposits and loans. This is the conversation of DeFi forcing banks to either adapt or go extinct. Because if you're able to earn yield off of, your USDC or whatever stablecoin it is 10 years from now, why would you even leave it in a bank, right?
Exactly.
We're going to see the Coinbase card we already have. I can go out and purchase all kinds of stuff with crypto. Easy, just as fast as anything else. If I'm able to earn yield, which I currently am on a Coinbase card, and this continues to expand out to the rest of the people out there, what the hell is the point in leaving your money in a bank, right? You can go a step further. You can even stake Cardano straight out of your Arculus wallet.
Literally.
What's that?
Did
it freeze?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, it froze a little bit.
Yeah.
So
thing hates me.
You can stake directly from your Arculus wallet, Cardano. I think a few other assets here. But you can also hold custody at the same time. Use a code BASE10, get yours, link in the description, become your own bank. Force the banks to adapt or die. That is the game, the name of the game that we play here in the blockchain basement, and I will never stop this game. Now, today's a big day for the SEC as well. Ooh, what's going on? You might want to kill some systems.
No, I don't have to kill some systems. We're good.
You might want to kill some other systems running on your computer because that's probably lagging behind.
Yeah.
I think you should take my advice on this one.
Okay.
I really do. Now, SEC put in Paul Atkins today. After years of complaining and bashing on Gary Gensler, we finally have a pro-crypto SEC chairman, but now nobody is talking about it and the market is not giving a damn. Kind of beg to differ with this take. I do believe that, what we see a pump is excitement about the trade deals being made between India and the United States, but also the conversations earlier over the week about Japan, other Southeast Asian countries like South Korea being like, you know what, we cool. We don't want no smoke, Trump. And Paul Atkins being put in place. It's a lot that is going on right now. A lot of reasons why we're reclaiming those previous highs. And honestly, the 90K realm, we are going to be fighting. We do need to look at this. Let's see here. Isaac, I'm going to swap real quick to my other screen. Let's share the Brave browser, because this is where, okay, here it is. Okay. Let's see if this works. Can you pull this up?
Yes, I can.
Oh, God.
Oh, whoopsie daisy. There you go.
All right, so zoom in a little bit, right? Right.
Yeah, now you're all good.
So this POC, this is my active trade account. I'm at 514% on this. What's left over of that trade. Kind of crazy. But we are at a very, very important point of control. So with all the bullishness, this is why, I'm bullish and I'm leaning into a bull market in terms of where I'm operating from and, trades. So I'm kind of watching to see if we bounce down off of this and basically go to 87,736 for that potential next entry point. And huge shout out to Alexandra G for gifting the 5 blockchain basement memberships. Absolutely incredible. Thank you very much, Edward. Ellie got one. Kelby, Bearded. I wonder if that's Bearded Golfer. Ivan, what is up? That is absolutely awesome. So these levels, in general, if you're asking like, what's the next move, Drew? Really, I am looking for a bounce off this. We've had our, quite a bit of fun. I do expect us to test $88,000. This is going to be a very, very contentious support/resistance level to break through. And so when it comes to trading, I'm going to be careful about it. Where I'm at right now, let's go over to the other screen here. I'm swapping through different systems. Let's see, where is it at? Bam, the SPY. Let's check it out, the SPY real quick. So what is this? Oh yeah, there you go. The SPY is putting in basically what signals to me to be a bottoming out candle, where we have the body of the green making up that huge downturn. This really isn't a traditional bear market, pullback. Usually bear market pullbacks are about 35% in the SPY. So this is only 21%. Tis but a scratch, honestly. Tis but a scratch. I'm not too concerned about it. How are we doing on time, Isaac?
We're doing good. He is waiting in the back.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I want to get to him. We have a very special guest on the show today. I've been excited about the base ecosystem and everything being built within it. And we do have Luke from Moonwell,
the founder of
Moonwell, joining us
here
on the show. Mr. Luke, let's see if we got audio on him. How you doing,
good,
sir?
Hey, Drew. Good morning. Good to be here. How are you doing?
It's incredible. You know what? I couldn't be more excited. I never gave up on this market through this time frame. It's awesome to see the bullish sentiment coming back to crypto. And really, I've been here for the fact of I found crypto through the power that it gives to the average person, right? And so when I see applications like Moonwell being built, Aerodrome, all of it, I really love it. But I really wanted to get, kind of a rundown from you on how this, started. Like, if you can give me a bit of a background story on how you originally got into crypto, and ended where you are now.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, it's great to be here, Drew, and it's good to meet your entire community. Thank you for having me on the show. I first got started as a Bitcoiner, actually, in the early 2010s, of all places. So I was a big gamer, and I used to just play video games quite a lot. I was a big World of Warcraft addict back in the day. I don't really play anymore, but anyway, I used to just, at first I learned about Bitcoin from, I think I saw the white paper on Hacker News, news.ycombinator.com, if any of you ever follow that. Mm-hmm. And then my brother told me about it because he's also a software engineer like I am. And he was like, hey, I've been mining this Bitcoin stuff on my PC. It's kind of cool. It just like makes coins. And I'm like, what? So I didn't start mining until a couple of years later, which I kind of regret, but I did start mining with my GPU on my gaming PC when I would leave it running when I was at work or when I was asleep. And I could mine like 50 cents of Bitcoin a day. And I just thought it was this cool magic internet money at the time.
Yeah.
And at first, the first month, I think I sold $20 worth of Bitcoin. And then I was like, wait, why did I do that? Like, this is just basically paying my power bill. Why not just keep them? So I kept some of them, which I'm grateful for. That kind of gave me my entry point into crypto. And then I've always been a software engineer by trade, but I went to work full time in crypto. Like while I was still working at Amazon Web Services, I started. My brother and I built a software company or a consulting company that was basically helping the first proof of stake networks launch. That was Tezos and Cosmos, basically. That was back in 2018. And that was my first foray into actually doing crypto professionally. And then I was joking with my brother. I was like, wouldn't it be funny? We were just like, two software engineers with laptops and a dream, right? And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if like Coinbase acqui-hired us for like $10 million in a year from now because they want to get into staking? And then that fall, while I was like at the AWS reInvent Tech conference, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like the cloud conference.
I've heard of it. I mean, it's way above my pay grade. It sounds like some pretty big decisions and development happens there. But
yeah, totally. It's like the big cloud conference in Vegas every year. All the big companies go there and shill their cloud computing products, their software as a service or whatever. And so I was at this conference and I get a call from the founder of Tezos, and he's on the phone going, hey, like Coinbase wants to talk to you. Do you want to get on a call with him? So I remember vividly going to the parking garage at the hotel in Vegas because like the conference floor was so loud. If you've ever been to a crypto conference, it's kind of like that where everyone's shouting over each other. There's like music playing. I go to the parking garage because it's the only quiet place that I'm like talking with Coinbase, and they're like, can you come into our San Francisco headquarters and like talk to us about staking? And I was like, yeah, I'm in Vegas now, but I live in the Bay Area. Like I can be there on Monday. And so my brother flew in, he lives in Utah. And then we just like went to Coinbase and pitched our little 2-person startup. Like, hey, do you want to buy our little 2-person startup? And then, fast forward a few months, I was working at Coinbase and I helped launch staking there. And then I worked at Coinbase like for 3 years, launched a lot of staking products, including the big one is probably Ethereum staking. And then I left Coinbase 3 years ago to launch Moonwell because I really believed in DeFi. And, I don't know if any of your audience was using DeFi during DeFi summer back in 2020.
I don't. I know a few of them were, but we actually have DeFi crypto and airdrops, which is another kind of sister channel that's just getting started up. They're in the chat actually right now. They have been absolutely loving the base ecosystem. really heavy into DeFi, and it's very dense content, but people start to get interested when, you think about the long-term, the compounding, gains and really the long-term aspect of it. So absolutely. I mean, we have kind of a sister channel starting up that's all about it. And these folks, they are always talking about it. Really, I am just a 30,000 foot, plucker. I just see where the TVL is going and all that jazz. Me personally, but I do actually have an interest in getting involved with it. Not only with Moonwell, but Aerodrome, Morpho.
Well, let me tell you how I got into DeFi, because I think it's kind of a fun story. So I started working at Coinbase in 2019. And then a year after I started there, like COVID happened, right? And all of a sudden we're all locked down, and we're all working remote. We went from going into the office every day in San Francisco to just like staying home. And like, I don't know if you remember that time, it's 5 years ago now. Yeah. But like, I think a lot of us were, trading meme coins on Robinhood just because you had nothing better to do, or like that was when the whole GameStop thing happened. And a lot of us were just like, watching Netflix and bored, or play video games, right? Like we were doing all those things, but a lot of us at Coinbase were actually degenning hard on food coins and like going down the DeFi rabbit hole during DeFi summer. And so we would work at Coinbase like for 8 or 10 hours a day, and then at night we would be like, okay, what's the new airdrop that's happening? Or you know what I mean? Like, and we're just using all these early apps like Compound Aave, Uniswap, SushiSwap, a whole bunch of Ohm forks. There were all these new DeFi apps. And I started a Slack group in Coinbase. It's a DeFi group, and it became the second largest group with thousands of people in it, like next to General, because there's like thousands of employees at Coinbase. And we're all sharing alpha with each other. Like, hey, did you try this new app? Like I got like $1,000 airdrop from them or whatever, and everyone in that channel was like, kind of getting rich together, if you will. And I saw the power. So because I was an early Bitcoiner, and I just invested, right? I bought like Bitcoin, I bought Ethereum, I bought a few like blue chips, if you want to call them that. And I was just like a hodler, right? But all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, I can wrap my Bitcoin and I can bring it to Ethereum, and now I can borrow against it. So I wrapped all my Bitcoin, brought it to Ethereum. And I was like, wait a minute, I earn interest. Like people pay me, because I was big into staking. And I was like, wait a minute, I can earn more crypto by just holding my crypto in my wallet. And that's what staking basically lets you do.
Right.
And then I was like, wait a minute, I can lend out my Bitcoin and people will pay me money to borrow it. Or even better yet, I was like, I can borrow stable coins against my Bitcoin and go farm a protocol like Aerodrome, or the Aerodrome didn't exist then, but like, you know what I mean? Like I could go farm on Uniswap and earn airdrops and stuff.
And that's so much power when you think about it. Like, wait a minute, I can do this, and I've only been being taken advantage of by banks, but all of a sudden, this power is coming into our hands.
And so for an early Bitcoiner like me, or anyone that's investing long-term in crypto, I'm more of a long-term guy, because I believe, I've been in Bitcoin for over a decade now, and I believe it'll be worth more in a few years than it's worth today. And, not financial advice, but I just saw the power in, like, I can borrow against my crypto. I don't have to sell it, because that's the biggest thing. Anyone that sold crypto is like, oh, you got to pay the tax man, and trust me, I paid a lot of taxes for selling crypto, but I realized like there's a better path for two types of people. One is, I just want to save and earn for my future. Like maybe I want to save up for school, or I want to save to buy a nice car or house or something. And one that's why we created Moonwell, because I want to help people save and earn more crypto for a better tomorrow. And then number two, for the early Bitcoiners and early to crypto people like us, I wanted people to be able to borrow against their crypto, because I realized that gives you superpowers. You don't have to, early Bitcoiners never want to sell their coins. They just want to hold them forever, right? Because they'll probably be worth more. And again, I can't predict the future. On a short-term timeline, they may go down, but on a longer term, like over many years, things tend to go up, right? Just due to the halving cycle. And so we created Moonwell just for that reason. We wanted to bring the most powerful financial tools to everyone in the world, no matter where you live, no matter what your ability level was. And those early DeFi apps were hard to use. You had to be like a software engineer to figure it out, basically, or a real nerd like us, right? You had to have a desktop computer. You had to have a hardware wallet, usually like a Ledger or a Trezor or something. You had to have MetaMask. You had to figure shit out. Sometimes you didn't even have a front end. You had to go right to the smart contracts and talk to them directly, like a lot of these early apps. And so I left Coinbase in 22, like over 3 years ago, because I was like, I want to build a DeFi app, not a CeFi app. Because Coinbase is great. I love Coinbase, but it's CeFi, right? It's not DeFi.
Right.
And I wanted to build decentralized apps where people could be self-custodial, not your keys, not your coins, right? People can have their self-custodial Ethereum wallet. They can use Moonwell. They can lend and borrow their crypto and then participate in the bounty that is like DeFi and what on-chain finance makes possible for everyone in the world. And so the Moonwell vision is a world where finance and governance is powered by Web3 and crypto, right? And you can start to see the vision of that materializing because now we have stablecoins, right? And I feel like stablecoins, and we can talk more about this, stablecoins are the first use case for crypto, like the real use case that like, your mom or your family or your friend might use that isn't into crypto, right? Because now I can instantly pay for something anywhere in the world, like cross-border settlement. And we're trying to build that at Moonwell. So for example, we're trying to build this paycheck to payments experience for anyone in the world, no matter where you live. And this is powered by stablecoins. So for example, all of our devs live in Brazil, except for me, of course, and they get paid in stablecoins by the Moonwell Foundation, right? And the only reason why we can hire some of the best talent in the world that have worked for us for 3 years now is because we can pay them. But most US companies can't pay a contractor that's in Brazil because like you just can't set them up in your payroll system. If you're a small business owner, like how do you pay them, right? Only crypto companies could do that. But now anyone in the world can get a virtual checking account through Moonwell. You can just go to moonwell.fi/account and get one in a few minutes. You just KYC. And you get a US bank account with a bank in Kansas City, Missouri that will give you a routing number and an account number. And now you can set up direct deposit and work for a US company. And
that is such an important bridge to be built out like that. Oh my gosh. That is, you guys have made it so you even have like a Moonwell card. Like
that's right. And then
I want to dive into
that's the payment side. So the paycheck side is like, how do I, if I'm a knowledge worker in Argentina where like the Argentinian peso has been inflated and lost like half of its value in the last year, I don't want to hold pesos in my wallet. I want to hold dollars in my wallet, stable coins. Right. So now I can get paid from a US company and then I can get the Moonwell card and I can load that card up with USD coin and shop. And so that's the payment side of things where we want to build that paycheck to payments experience for knowledge workers and remote workers and basically anyone in the world, because our thesis in the Moonwell community is that now that we have instant cross-border settlement with stablecoins, this means that like the world is going to be dollarized because frankly, the dollar is better than most currencies. Even though we have high inflation in the US, most countries, people would rather hold dollars because it's less unstable than their local currency. Like if you live in Nigeria and you have the Naira, like that has been inflated 4x. It's like lost, it's lost 4 times its value in the last couple of years, right? Because of the high inflation. You don't want to hold the Naira. You want to hold Tether or Circle's stablecoin, right? Because that's why so many people use USDT on Tron in Nigeria, because it's like fast and cheap and you can buy things and you don't get inflated. So our thesis is that as the world dollarizes, like Moonwell is poised to really succeed in this environment because we're creating these, it's almost like fintech tools, right? Not even like crypto, but we're creating ways that people can get paid and people can make payments and pay their bills no matter where they live in the world. If you're a digital nomad or a remote worker, there's so many good, talented people out there globally that don't live in US or Europe.
Well, now the sourcing of them and the workforce is so easy with, I mean, we had kind of like that work from home revolution that happened. But when that happened, companies are like, why don't I just go source someone that, works in a demographic where their currency's dying? I can pay them US dollars. Yep. They often produce 2 to 3 times the material for less money. And then the person that's actually getting paid is earning more in buying power than they ever have by being plugged into that. It's such a crazy. Do you feel like that work from home revolution we saw has kind of quickened this process that you're describing with this kind of remote workforce?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of look at the trends, and over the last 5 years since COVID, there's a couple reasons for that. I mean, first of all, we sort of had to work from home out of necessity. I mean, everyone was either working or going to school on Zoom or Google Meet back then, right? And we still are in many ways. Like, I work in the office a few days a week, but I also work from home a few days a week, and my entire team is remote in Brazil, and so we only see each other. We've only seen like our team once in 3 years, right? Like, we met up at ETH Denver,
right?
And so, when you work in that remote environment, and Coinbase is a remote company too, like when you work in that remote environment, you just learn to use tools. But that means that now global talent knows how to use those tools. And it can be harder, definitely it's better to do some things like planning, whiteboarding, the kind of like, hey, let's all get together and plan this new feature for Moonwell. That's easier to do in person. But then a lot of the work like coding or any kind of like solo work, like writing documentation, writing blog posts, that can be done remote. And in many cases, it's nice to just like lock yourself in your home office and just have no distractions for a while. So that everything can be done remote. And then the other thing is that this is the first jobs that were remote are mostly software jobs like ours, right? Like, we're a team of almost all software engineers, designers and comms and community management and governance stuff too. But most we're 80% software engineers on the Moonwell side. That's the first stuff that gets made remote. But now with the paycheck to payments experience, like, you can imagine someone that's just pushing spreadsheets at an office that doesn't even work in tech. That's like, hey, I'm an accountant, I just do spreadsheets. They can get a remote job working for US companies. Maybe they're helping people, maybe they're helping small businesses do their accounting. And even though like there's a part of me that says like that's going to hurt the American economy because it's going to hurt American jobs. And I'm American, so I want to see our economy succeed. I also think that there's benefits to helping the global economy, right? Because just having worked with so many talented, brilliant engineers in Brazil, I just know how much it can impact their quality of life to have a good paying US job. And if you think a few chess moves ahead, it's probably good for America in general if the rest of the world is more wealthy and stable, because there tends to be like less war and like poverty and global hunger and all the things that cause like bad things to happen to the world, right? So that's kind of, it's kind of like the fact that sure, the US has a big military and we're sort of like the world police, but like just having the military presence in other countries means that like wars don't start because nobody wants to mess with them, right?
Absolutely. And there's other economic and macro factors that Trump is doing. Like, what about our manufacturing industry, right? What about the mass construction, that we used to have in America? There's a bunch of different ways that we've skewed our labor force that have really dwindled it down to what we see now. In software engineering, those types of things, very necessary to kind of globally source. I can see that. I see the good and the bad from it. Like, I was in Boulder, and Silicon Valley basically migrated to Boulder and increased the cost of
digital
houses.
Nomads. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to say is that like a lot of my friends at Coinbase, that especially the ones that are single and don't have a family to bring with them, they became digital nomads, and they just like they're like, I'm going to go live in like Thailand, and I'm going to live like a king because I'm getting a US salary and I'm like living in this beautiful like country that has like beaches and stuff, right? And for US knowledge workers, I think it's really empowering to be like, I'm going to go move to Boulder. I love rock climbing or whatever, and I love nature. And then you're just like, okay, I'm still making my San Francisco salary, but I live in Boulder. This is great. So it's not just about outsourcing jobs. It's also about giving people options, because I think just the world gets more connected. And then also there's all these macroeconomic benefits. For example, the Belt and Road Initiative from China.
Right.
It would really suck if all of a sudden the entire world is transacting in Chinese currency and they have the central bank digital currency that like, they'll turn off your wallet if you have a low social credit score.
That was the conversation I thought that was supposed to happen by now, but apparently look at India's like, nah, we're good. Right.
So so if everyone is using dollars and dollar-backed stablecoins because they like the dollar better anyways, that means that like oppressive regimes that want to push their CBDCs, their central bank digital currencies, just won't get traction. And I think, first of all, there have been some people in politics, I don't want to get into politics too much, but there have been some people in Congress that want to push CBDCs, the kind of people that are also anti-crypto. But I think all of us that are early Bitcoiners, the thought of a central bank digital currency like horrifies us. And we want self-sovereign money. We want self-custodial money. We want like uncensorable money. everyone should have the right to transact. Everyone should be able to custody their own coins in their own wallet. And that's kind of what DeFi is all about. It's not it's not about having some central counterparty like FTX that can steal your money. It's about having your own money and everyone having their own wallet and being able to control who you do business with, and no government or company can kind of come between you and your coins, right?
Absolutely. One thing within Moonwell I saw was kind of the integration with the Morpho vaults. And it's awesome for me to see those two entities. Obviously they're within the base network, so I'd expect some cooperation, but I mean, what is the larger play here? How are you helping Morpho kind of expand and bring Morpho itself to these new networks?
That's a great question. So Morpho launched on mainnet a couple of years ago, and they rapidly grew to billions of TVL. And the reason why they grew so fast is because just like Uniswap is permissionless, like anyone can create a pool with any coin in it, Morpho is also permissionless. Anyone can create a money market, a lending market with a pair of assets like Bitcoin and USD coin, right? And then now people can borrow USD coin against their Bitcoin. And so the vaults that we launched on the Moonwell side are what supplies the borrowable USD coin into those markets, or other coins like CBBTC, EURC, Eurocoin, and ETH as well. But the reason why we partnered with them, even though you might think, well, wait a minute, you guys are a lending protocol too, aren't you competitive? But we realized the opportunity there. So first, our core markets are multi-collateral. You borrow any coin against any other coin. And people that are like early adopters really like that, because you can borrow for leverage or shorting or more advanced strategies. But for most people, the isolated markets are safer because it's just a single collateral asset like Bitcoin, CBBTC in the case of Coinbase Bitcoin, and USD coin on the borrowable side. And so you don't take on the risk of all the coins in the market. You just take on the risk of the Bitcoin and the stable coin, right? So for most people, it's actually more secure. And because they're immutable, once that market is created or the vault is created, it will live as long as Ethereum lives, which is basically forever. It's the world computer. Then people have confidence that the Morpho team themselves can't rug you, or the Moonwell vault curator can't rug you, because that market and that vault will continue to live forever. And then we also knew, just from our early discussions with Coinbase, I think I can share this now that the product is public, but we were under NDA previously, but we knew Coinbase was going to launch or relaunch their Bitcoin Borrow product, which just launched in January.
Yes.
They shut their original Bitcoin Borrow product down, which was the CeFi product, like a couple of years back because of the SEC lawsuit. So we knew they wanted to relaunch a decentralized version of that. And they chose Morpho to do it because Morpho was this permissionless, immutable primitive where Coinbase retail Bitcoin holders can basically supply their Bitcoin. And they do this on Base, by the way. Coinbase creates a smart contract wallet for each user. They supply their Bitcoin into that wallet. And then the Moonwell flagship vault supplies the borrowable USD coin into that market.
Gotcha.
So that now Coinbase retail users can borrow against their Bitcoin, and they can cash out and go buy a Lambo or whatever they want to do with it in the real world. And so we saw the income potential for the Moonwell protocol is like, hey, there's a performance fee, a curator fee, you call it, which is 15% of the interest.
Right.
So if the interest is 10% on your Bitcoin loan, it's not that high right now because of the macro conditions. But if it was 10% in a bull market, then the Moonwell DAO, the Moonwell protocol, will earn 1.5% interest. And then that creates a revenue stream that goes back to the Moonwell protocol. And then at the same time, it provides the borrowing, the borrowable USDC for the Coinbase Bitcoin borrowers, which we think is going to grow to 100 billion or so in several years from now, just because of crypto market growth. Right now, there's just over $100 million of Bitcoin collateral supplied. However, the product has only been live for 3 months, and Coinbase hasn't really marketed it. It's only available to 25% of their users today. They haven't rolled it out completely. They did a really nice launch post. You can probably find it on the Coinbase Twitter handle, but they haven't really marketed it very much since. And I just learned from working with Coinbase and launching staking products 6 years ago when I started that they ramp things up slowly, but over the next couple of years, you can see that really grow. So just as an example, when I first joined in early 2019, staking was a $19 million annualized run rate business in terms of revenue generated for Coinbase. When I left 3 years ago, it was just over 250 million. And now it's a $1 billion run rate business for them. They make $1 billion in annualized revenue from across their blockchain rewards.
There's a little bit of growth there.
Yeah,
just a little bit of growth.
But it took 6 years to get there. So we have a longer term thesis. Like, you know, we've been building Moonwell for 3 years, and like, you know, it might be another 3 years before Coinbase gets to the billions of TVL, but they will get there because they, you know, on chain is kind of the future for them. It's a better product experience. It's decentralized. They don't have the CeFi kind of like, hey, we have all the money and like we hope it doesn't get robbed or something, right? Like risk. Yeah,
absolutely. But you'd bring up that growth rate. I've seen, you know, honestly, the way that these AI agents are being developed at a very fast pace. You know, some of the folks I've talked to have kind of brought it to my attention. We're probably going to see a few billion AI agents released over the next years. So kind of crazy. I did see that you are involved with potentially even building this AI agent named Mamo. It's like intention, and what I've learned about is like it helps users kind of build their portfolio out. Can you kind of explain the approach behind the AI agent Mamo for us?
Yeah. So first of all, everyone on my team has been using AI to help us write code for a couple of years now. Now, when ChatGPT first came out in 23, it wasn't that great, but the newer models like Claude Sonnet from Anthropic are really good and almost as good as a human software engineer. And you can use them as a developer to you know, write 10x as much code as you used to write before. You have to review it to make sure it doesn't make mistakes, but it's really accelerated our pace of development. So when I heard that Coinbase was having an AI hackathon early in January, I asked my team, I was like, hey, do you guys want to go join this hackathon? Maybe we'll win some prizes. And if not, we'll just learn some cool AI tools. So we went to the hackathon on February 1st at San Francisco headquarters. And we actually met up with 2 other really cracked engineers from Tribes, which is they're launching an AI agent launchpad called iOS. So we met up with Hish and Nick from Tribes, and they actually joined our team because they were like, hey, we just came to the hackathon. We were wanting to join a good team. You guys seem like you're pretty cracked too. Like, let's join forces. So we, I didn't know we would do this, but we swept the grand prize at the Coinbase AI hackathon. We won the grand prize from Coinbase, and we also won the grand prize from Virtuals. If you're familiar, Virtuals is like the largest AI launchpad on.
They kind of kicked off like that fever pitch AI agent season, like in general, like, you know, a huge portion of it.
And so Mamo is a yield seeking agent that helps you find the best interest rates for lending out your stablecoins, but also in the future will be able to help you with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other strategies like becoming a liquidity provider on a DEX. But the idea I had was like, hey, I've been doing DeFi for like 5 years now. I'm kind of good at it. I launched my own DeFi protocol. Like, what if I just distilled my 5 years of DeFi farming expertise into an AI agent that could farm for you, right? Basically, because a lot of my friends and family that I talk to, I'll show them how DeFi works. Like, I'll show them Aerodrome or something, and they're like, this is awesome. I see how you can make a lot of money, but like, I can't figure this out. This is too complicated. Right. And you probably had those conversations.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, when I get into it with veteran crypto who runs DeFi crypto airdrop, I mean, it is a lot of information. I can understand, you know, basic flows of crypto community and just the general thesis. And honestly, I'm pretty good at it. But really getting into the nuts and bolts of those liquidity pools and everything, it can be very cumbersome. So something like an AI agent to help with that, absolutely crazy to think about.
And the other thing I noticed as a trend in just the last year and a half since Base launched is that, you know, when, especially with the markets being so volatile over the last, 12 months or so, ever since the Bitcoin ETFs, markets have been super volatile, like, up really big after the elections and now down really bad, now coming back up again, right? So what I noticed is that because we have both the USD coin vault and also a USDC market on Moonwell, the interest rates fluctuate dynamically based on the borrowing demand. So if there's high borrowing demand, sometimes the rates would spike to like, 20, 30%. Because if like Bitcoin is pumping, maybe the gamblers want to go max long Bitcoin. So they're leveraging to go max long, or, they short things too. So because of those interest rate dynamics that most people that are just investors like me that are just, park their stable coins or park their Bitcoin or ETH in a market don't take advantage of, is the interest rate arbitrage, right? Like, if I'm earning, 6% in one market and all of a sudden there's like the same stablecoin, I can earn 20%, like, why not just go there? And you can do that in like 2 seconds on Base, right? So Mamo has access to this tool, like what makes an AI agent better than just like ChatGPT? has to have access to custom data and custom tools, which is all the interest rates across base, like in all the money markets and the vaults. And then also it has to have access to custom knowledge, which is all the Moonwell documentation. And so we've done, that's called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, where you fine tune the model so she can actually answer questions like, how do liquidations work? Or how does lending work? Or, how do I borrow against my coins? She can answer really intelligently. And then she also knows all the rates across all of base. And so now she can basically move your position between those markets and make sure you're always capturing the best yield. And then the other aspect is just the tutorial aspect of like, a lot of people don't know how to save and invest. So for example,
100%.
like dollar cost averaging, like what if you just took $50 a month out of your paycheck and bought Bitcoin, or bought, or just put it in, say, a stablecoin vault that's earning a few percent? Like that's going to do better than in the rate of inflation. And so, you'll probably come out ahead if you do that for a few years. And so she can also give you guidance on like, hey, let's help you get started. Are you interested in low risk strategies? Like you never want to lose money. That's stablecoin probably. Or are you interested in taking a directional bet on crypto? Maybe you want to do some Bitcoin strategies, right? Because you're comfortable, like, losing some money if Bitcoin goes down. And so she can ask questions and she can steer you towards, okay, if you're low risk, you never want to lose money, that's a stablecoin strategy. If you're willing to take on some risk, some directional risks on crypto, now you could maybe want to do a Bitcoin or a stake ETH strategy or something like that. And then, for the degen traders, this will come later, but like maybe you want to do an LP strategy where you're becoming a liquidity provider on Aerodrome, and we're compounding your rewards for you and back into your position.
Right.
And then also we realized, like, have you heard of BankerBot? Have you heard of this? Have you seen this thing on Twitter?
I've seen a little bit of it, but I haven't dug into it absolutely yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it come across the timeline a few times, but please expand on it.
Cool. So yeah, BankerBot is just like a Twitter agent that can like create a wallet for you, launch meme coins, and do all these things. It's like really cool. And I've seen a couple like celebrities interacting with it, like, hey, BankerBot, create me a wallet, or hey, BankerBot, like launch me a shitcoin. But we don't want to launch shitcoins for people, obviously. But I think there's this new service being built by ThirdWeb called Nebula. ThirdWeb helped us build this new feature that we just launched last week called Universal Bridge. And this is a really cool feature because it lets you on-ramp like over 40 fiat currencies and any wallet, like over 500 wallets, directly to Base and deposit right into Moonwell, like into our vault. And what that allows you to do is, like, if I have Sol in my Phantom wallet, I can just go from Sol in my Phantom wallet into USDC vault on Base, earning interest on my stablecoins in just a matter of like a minute or less, with only like 1 cent fee or something. So the creators of that technology, ThirdWeb, it's like a wallet aggregator service that lets us support over 500 crypto wallets in Moonwell. They actually have, the founder has this new project called Nebula, which lets you manage your wallet with an AI agent. So you can just say like, hey, hey Mamo, swap my ETH for USDC, and she'll be able to help you do that. And she'll tell, like a little widget can appear in the chat window and just be like, hey, here's the amount of USDC you'll get for your ETH. This is the fee you'll pay. Is that cool? And if you click yes, it'll like swap it on Uniswap or Aerodrome for you.
Absolutely incredible. Like that is so important for the mass adoption thing we always talk about. You know what I mean? Like we want everyone to be able to use it, but entry points like this, super, super important to build out. So I just had to highlight that.
Thank you. And I know we're getting up on time here, but I just wanted to say, like, just to kind of, and I get excited talking about this stuff, but Mamo's main feature is going to be, educating you on how to save, helping you make sure your stable coins are always earning the best rate. And then we'll add more advanced strategies. But then the third part is helping you manage your wallet, whether that's, on-ramping, off-ramping, loading the Visa debit card, or just like making a swap really quick.
Right.
And so those three things, I think if we can help people do that, like through a nice chat interface, whether it's in Telegram or, we'll have a nice like app you can run on your mobile phone where you can chat with her in the future. Okay. If we can do those things well, I think that could onboard potentially more than just like the, 40,000 degens on crypto Twitter,
100%, because that's where I want to see this go, man. And anyone out there that's watching, if you want to learn more, definitely follow Luke. We have him here at Luke Youngblood on Twitter, and then you can go check out everything he's up to. Here's your ticker or account rather for Mamo, course Moonwell. Use a highlight. Very, very good information here, and I'm appreciative to have minds like you out there fighting for decentralized finance to really make it to the masses, man. This is something that's super powerful. In 2020, I realized, because I've been studying and, I was watching Bitcoin since 2017, but, when I did see the signal that we are now living through from the Federal Reserve's printing rates and all of the things that affect our buying power, it really, really is important to get learned up on all these different programs that are rolling out there. So huge shout out to you. Thank you for diving into the nitty gritty of this, man. I'm super excited.
Thanks, Drew.
Super excited.
Yeah, it was great being here and sharing some like knowledge about DeFi and stuff. And also like, thank you for supporting us and for being early to base. And, I think, I think we're friends with a lot of people like Biz Knowledge and stuff that recommended us. And he's been a big early supporter of Moonwell. So, thank you to you and your audience for supporting us. And stay based.
Absolutely, man. I love that. We are the blockchain basement, so we will do so. All right, Luke. Well, thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate you. Hopefully we can talk soon.
Yeah, let's talk again sometime. Have a good day.
Right. You take care, man. That guy was cool. That guy, I feel like my
knowledge just bam, bam, bam. No, that's what Biz Knowledge was telling me. It was like your mind is about to get
absolutely awesome interview.
That was
awesome
great.
Interview. Now, Isaac, take care of what you need to take care. I saw the chat.
Yeah. Here, let me just go ahead.
Holy God.
You could just keep going. You have fun talking on. I'm just gonna go at it. I'm gonna go fucking ham.
All right. So, interesting to see Bitcoin being talked about as being decoupled from NASDAQ yesterday. Conversations about altcoin season coming up. This is CNBC talking about Bitcoin moving higher as stocks slid. S&P 500 not looking too bad as of today, as I highlighted, but Bitcoin in comparison doing much, much better. So it's beautiful to see this. Our longs are doing great. Here's some good advice for Isaac. There's an old saying out there: if it's a hot girl texting you about crypto, block him. And that is from Poseidon. These are messages from the crypto overseers, the people behind the scenes here. Please do not respond to these. Hi, Boo.
You are banned!
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Okay. So, Isaac, just word for I think you get this.
Yeah, obviously.
You get this. And anyone out there that's watching, if you get hit up by some Jezebel out of China, she's not real. It's a dude.
Play the ban button for or him.
Yeah. Alt season 3.0 starts now. Interesting overlay here of the bear trap that just took place. This does look like the total 3. This excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the downturn that's happened there within. I do actually think this is a type of situation that we're seeing. We're going to run through the media attention phase, as we just saw with CNBC, then the enthusiasm as we break local highs, the greed, the delusion where the NFT bros are starting to shop for new, islands, Lambos. Spend time with the island boys, and then the new paradigm. But there will be a bear market that comes to fruition for altcoins. So the whole goal here is to buy the cheap Bitcoin, buy the cheap altcoins when the price is low, while all the simps are running away saying that there's no bull market. Then you get ride it all the way back on up like a Giga Chad that never gave up on crypto. And once you hit those 5Xs, 10Xs, 20Xs, that's where, once you finally feel like, hey, honey, what car should I buy? And then you're showing off the screen. Take your profits. Take some profits. Just an island boy. God, it's stuck in my head again.
You are banned.
Just get banned from my own
You get
show.
banned because you said
I feel like
we talked about this yesterday. We're not saying it.
Yeah. And here's kind of an interesting note on Chainlink. 73% of all tokens and 66% of addresses have not moved in over 2 years. That is not just patience, that is conviction, folks. Think about everything that's happened in that time. The narratives have flipped. Conspiracies and psyops turn out to be real. Huge partnerships were locked in. Through all of it, most holders stayed put. There's a lesson here. Absolutely crazy to see the token seniority distribution. I am OG when it comes to Chainlink. 2020, $1.90, $1.80. That was my main entry points there. We do need an island boy emoji.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
we need to get my stupid ass face in there first.
Oh yeah, why don't we have that? What's our problem? Now Arbitrum, Base, and Avalanche are showing, and Sonic, major spike in top bridge flows over the last 24 hours. This is just a highlight on the migratory flock of crypto natives and where they're headed to. And a huge shout out from AIXBT, great data agent, highlighting Tau shipping 100 subnets in 65 days. The first subnet hitting $100 million in TVL. Tau has been absolutely on a tear. Highlighted for y'all the buy spot in the $200 range. Now it is above $300. And this is a canary in the coal mine for another mega hype cycle, I think, is actually coming back for AI players in the space. So something very important to keep an eye on. Also, important to keep an eye on what's being used to launder money. Fartcoin hitting $1 billion in market cap, just 42 wallets, playing hot potato at your expense. Player beware, right? Player beware on these things. So we have to talk about this. This is the culture war. Now we're going to talk about the culture war. This is the this is where things are about to get weird.
Oh God.
Klaus Schwab is out. This guy's in. Peter Brabeck Letmath, former CEO of Nestle, who famously stated in 2017, humans have no access to free water. Careful what you wish for. And there's the bloody eye, right? This is our new greatest supervillain leading up the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
Probably going to still have Yuval Harari talking to him in the background, but look at the eyes. Just
Mongeko Sharingan. That's what that is right there.
Very, very sketchy individual. And honestly, I am of the opinion that free water is a human right, a basic human right. And you know what? When we talk about, I get in an argument with Jeremy every time he comes on the show about 15-minute cities.
Mm-hmm.
They're pinch points for ultimate control. We were talking to Luke about the introduction and slowing the introduction of CBDCs across the world. I really think that what we see in the EU is setting a precedent for that massive push for CBDCs. They are bringing people to their knees in need of government assistance, and something crazy is going on. In Britain, it is now arresting up to 30 people every day for online speech-related offenses. No jokes, no memes, no criticism that could be deemed transphobic or racially insensitive is allowed. Meanwhile, in the United States, we have representatives like Nancy Mace. Let's have a listen, folks.
Does your husband call you babe? I'm not married. Okay, so even better. I don't care. Okay, so I would like for you to apologize, but it is derogatory, and second of all. Is tranny derogatory to you? Yeah. Of course the fuck it is. Yeah, tranny.
That's an elected official in the United States.
So based.
How the pendulum has swung. Absolutely lovely.
Oh my gosh, that's true. Go to your bookmarks. Biz Knowledge dropped it in the chat, but there is what's it called? There's a new. Let me read it here.
Okay.
RFK Jr. is set to announce the intent to ban on artificial dyes in American food supplies today at 4 p.m.
4
Eastern
p.m.?
time. Yes.
Oh,
beautiful.
my God.
Our children's health is finally being prioritized.
Oh, baby. I might have to do an emergency stream about that at 4, don't I?
Oh, baby.
That's something huge, bro.
That's
I like candy. I don't like being poisoned. My son likes candy. He doesn't. I'm not going to allow him to be poisoned. Oh my God, this is so good.
I was like wondering when the next time we're going to hear from RFK was.
Oh.
I guess today's the day.
Holy cow. Oh my God. What is Deucey saying? Evan banned me. I want to see what Deucey's saying. Well, go up, scroll up. I want to go through the chat here a little bit. I want to go through all this. Deucey matters to me. He matters in my heart. Oh yeah. Well, he's upset because I never was able to get the originating account control. That's the problem with the basement Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Is like it was set up by somebody, and I don't even think it's TJ's. It was like an email has been blocked out. Like I can't get access to do any major administrative changes to it. So I share that aggravation, DC. Absolutely. This RFK Jr. announcing this, I think I do have to do a 4 p.m. live show on this. It could be BJ.
It could be. We just don't know who it is.
You know, BJ left a beamer behind that. BJ is supposed to show up at some point. He keeps, we talk every single day almost.
That beamer is going to be
I gave him the link. He knows where I'm at. It's up to him. The ball's in his court. New Discord. Yeah, maybe the Discord server is BJZ.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
So much work. Now this is crazy to think about for real estate. Think about all the boomers, all the houses that are out there for boomers, and now we see low birth rates being highlighted by Elon Musk as a potential to end civilization. I think not end civilization, but end a certain demographic. And especially if you're shutting the border down, you're stopping that millions of people flowing in. The Section 8 bet that's going on right now. There's a lot of things to consider in the real estate market, but when we see less need, in 10, 20 years from now, it was made by Taco.
Dude, that means I'll send Taco a message. Okay. Well, we'll get this figured out.
Oh my God. Why the fuck didn't I think of that? Okay.
Dude, here, you know what?
Isaac?
Because we love you so much, Deucey, I'm texting Taco literally right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're good.
You better hit him up. This is priority number one because Deucey lives matter. Damn it.
Deucey lives matter. Everybody, +1 for Deucey in the chat. Okay.
Yeah. I think Taco moved back to Connecticut. Didn't
I think he did too.
Okay. All right. So you know what? All this great. We're looking at crazy cultural things going on right now. Fauci increases net worth by 15 million during 2020. We all know what's happening. You know what the crazy thing about this is? Germany is refusing to admit how the COVID variant was created out of Wuhan. Germany is refusing to even acknowledge this. So, this is further verification that the EU is going to get very, very bad. And also Colorado Democrats pushing for an armory bill. Holy God. Like, and this is the previous ones were like more than 5 guns, you're considered an armory.
Yeah.
Like, I have 5 guns in my socks right now, and I'm a walking armory. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. But absolutely crazy to think about. Now, where's the bags here?
It was Taco.
It was?
He literally just told me a long time ago. Yeah, he's gonna look and give me all the information right now. So,
Holy God. We just fixed that.
Hopefully.
Because of the chat. Because I was sure it was TJ, but then TJ couldn't find it. It's because Deucey. Who gave the Taco recommendation? Was it Deucey?
Oh.
All right. Deucey's gonna crash out if it's not Taco. Oh my God. Still, Colorado is still better than New York. Absolutely. And tell Taco the basement says hello, would you, Isaac?
I will.
All right. So now, top movers in the portfolio, the things I've felt like covering here and focusing on. We've seen the influx and some really good things coming into the AVAX. Yellow Cat, 16% on the week, 7% on the day. The arena's up 20% on the day. There's Moonwell up near 10% on the day. That's great. Jupiter trying to come back. Avalanche breaking above $20 now at $21. Absolutely delicious. Chainlink trying to make it back up to that $14 mark. That's going to be a very big point of contention, $14, I would say. But I think we're on our way there. Ondo still writhing under the dollar realm. I think Ondo will be just fine in general. Cardano having a good day at 5%. A 5% pump on Cardano. Huge. Constellation DAG trying to make it back up to 4 cents flat. XR People feeling good today at $2.14. They made it out of that scary little $1.80 sell-off moment. XRP is like pure speculation. Ripple is not.
Exactly.
And I think the speculation on XRP is going to continue because the reality of what Ripple is. So just concise. What is my dog doing? And then Morpho, look at Morpho's trying to make it up to $1 already. And freaking Plume, 17 cents. Aerodrome still got a lot of upside to find for itself here. And I do still hold a thick bag of Aerodrome. But now there's been a shift in my portfolio from the dip, the dippity doodah, the printing of USDT that I've been doing. Morpho is now the 3rd largest holding in my portfolio.
Gosh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's how fast things can happen if you're trading with the drip. You didn't give up on Bitcoin in the pullback. I feel so damn good. This is absolutely crazy. So in the short term, I am looking at the visible volume profile ranges, giving me a very key level at 90,000 or essentially $91,000 where we're at right now. Let's look at this on the larger time frame on the 1 hour. Let's go back a bit. So we're going to have some previous volume levels, but in general, this $91,000 level, extremely strong support of the past and now turn to resistance. So we got to fight for our right to party by getting above and beyond this 91K realm and this original pump 2 shelf. But with all that being said, I'd love and appreciate every single one of you out there. Thank you so much, Isaac and Ducey, for giving me the idea to hit up Taco for that, because now we're going to be able to get control of the Discord from like an admin standpoint.
He just sent me all the info. So
He did?
Yep.
Oh my God. Absolutely lovely. Sufficient enough. Ducey does crypto. I love you, man. I love you. And you know what? With what TJ's rolling out on this mass Discord thing, we got to find something for Ducey. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? He is a G, absolute G when it comes to that stuff. Crypto Steve is sufficient enough. DeFi crypto airdrops about to go live. Mike Vollmer, Cali Crypto Dude, all the people here, Stevie Crypto, a lot of Stevie Crypto, and Green Day Profits, of course. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there in the chat that make this show so incredible. It's you, the crowd, the strength, the conviction in crypto that makes this channel so damn powerful. Mark, Morgan, Jeremy, I love you guys. Thank you for joining us on the show. Lasers. Now let's send it over to DeFi and crypto airdrops to figure out how and why Veteran is so damn good at DeFi. Love and appreciate you guys, David, everyone out there, and I'll look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Take care.